Happy Thursday, everybody. Happy Thursday. Um, yo, I yo, this is weird to me, man. Like, I I was originally going to react to the Erika Kirk interview clips that other people have been reacting to as well and give you all my thoughts. And things have just gotten, just so strange with some of these things, man. And I'm going to give you all some things that I've noticed and just give you my thoughts. Let me say here at the beginning, if you are not subscribed to my Didi Got Politics YouTube channel, it's my second channel. I would highly encourage you to go and check it out. It's more political stuff, but I did drop a video earlier today where I am reacting to this actress who gives her thoughts about Erika Kirk's interview. It dropped maybe a couple hours ago or so. And I think you'll find it very interesting because she's an actress. She went to acting school, so she knows what to look for. And she's given us her thoughts on Erika Kirk and particularly her interview with Fox. The second thing I'd say is if you're new to the show and you wasn't able to catch our live yesterday, I interviewed this guy by the name of Brian. He's an investigative journalist based out of Arizona. And the reason why that's important is because Arizona is the state where Turning Point USA headquarters is stationed. And so he's been investigating a lot of internal things happening at Turning Point USA for years. And so he gave us a lot of inside information that's very, very relevant, which furthermore makes these interviews and just everything that's happening more weird. The last thing I want to say before we hop into this first clip is, as a reminder, I am working on other videos and other documentaries. Nothing has changed. This YouTube channel has not become the Charlie Kirk investigative channel. It's kind of hard to turn away from corruption. But it's easy to go live, keep you all updated on this Charlie Kirk thing while I'm working on other videos. And I should have a video out here the next day or so. So I want to keep you all up to date with that. Please hit the like button. That will be very helpful, as a lot of my videos are being shadow banned. They perform really well within the first 2 or 3 hours, and after that, it's shut down. I think it's going to be the most beneficial and the most efficient. I'm going to try to keep my lives not as long. I know some of you prefer longer videos, but I think for the algorithm purpose, and I think it's just a lot easier for a lot of people to have families and children. So I'm going to try to keep these videos under an hour if I can. I'm going to try to be as efficient and as informative as I can. But let's go ahead and hop into this first clip where Candace Owens is reacting to Erika Kirk's interview. And Candace Owens did. Dude, I'm just beyond annoyed, to be honest with you, because I hear people saying the whole, she's being strategic. She's keeping Erika Kirk close, and she can't ruin that lifeline, if you will. But man, Candace did today what I thought Candace Owens was going to do, which I don't even mean the pretending like she don't see the same red flags or the same odd behavior from Erika Kirk that the rest of us clearly see. No, she did that too. That's not even what I mean. Candace Owens specifically went to the part of the interview. She went to other parts as well, but the first clip Candace decided to react to was the clip or the part of the interview where Erika Kirk was actually crying. Candace did this on purpose. And the reason why she did this was because it only helps the fact that Candace is not being fully critical and fully honest. Honest is really the word. Candace is not being fully honest about what she thinks about Erika. So if you go to a clip of Erika Kirk shedding what I believe is the first and only time I've seen her actually cry. I give credit where it's due. Credit where it's due is probably not the right term, but Erika Kirk did cry in this interview. Now, some people have alleged that the tissue that she's holding may have played a role, may have had something in it to encourage tears. I don't know. But what I can tell you is that I caught that by Candace, and that was a bit deceptive to me. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop in here, and I'm going to share with you all everything that Candace was choosing not to say. For whatever reason, everything Candace was choosing to not see. Why she was choosing to, I don't know. Y'all have y'all theories, but I'm at a point right now where I think she's losing credibility. I am happy that she's the number one podcaster in the world. Congratulations to her, but you're losing some credibility with some people when you're doing this, you know?
Obviously, I'm making a lot of enemies right now for some reason looking into the Charlie Kirk assassination and the lies that we are being told. Anyways, let's get into Erika Kirk. Obviously, it was a very anticipated interview. I think we didn't really know what we were going to get. I don't know why I thought it was going to be like more about the investigation. And obviously, in retrospect, that's not what it was about because it's Fox News, and Fox News is not going to do this like heavy investigation. It was kind of more giving her a platform to speak about how things have changed for her, how things have changed for Turning Point USA, but it's like being at the helm of the organization. What are her thoughts about what that organization is going to look like going forward? And I'm speaking about Jesse Waters, who hosted this discussion, also trailed her at the event that she did with JD Vance at the University of Mississippi. Now, people around the world obviously have been moved by Erika's commitment to her Christian faith, the strength, obviously, that it takes for her to look after her kids, to look after herself, plus to steward this massive company, all while she's grieving, right? And that's kind of one of the things that stood out the most to a lot of people.
No. What people? Sure, it stood out to, I'm sure some people noticed that. Candace, that is not what really stood out to a lot of people about this interview. This is what I'm saying, man. If I have to be the bad guy, I'm just going to be the bad guy. Candace, there were other things about this interview that stood out to people. All right. So when you're saying things like, heading this company, what I find odd is that if you're saying Erika Kirk is heading this company, yet at the same time, we're noticing that there's a lot of odd things coming out of Turning Point USA. The audit that Charlie Kirk wanted done has all of a sudden disappeared. The reports, and some of them have been legit police reports, all of a sudden they're not making front headline news anymore. Erika Kirk is now the CEO. Everything stops and starts with her now. So you can't separate Erika Kirk from Turning Point USA anymore. So anything that we've been seeing, the people that are being protected, like Mikey McCoy, he's not having to answer for his odd behavior. We're talking about a person that was allegedly pow, right? So therefore, these people should have to come out and make themselves clear. And it's not seeming that that's what's happening. Candace, people are not paying as much attention to the fact that she's saying all these righteous things. Yes, that plays a role, but it's the other odd things from the interview that people have noticed.
But I would say the Christian message is what has resonated the most when she
No.
got up on stage and she said that I forgive him pretty instantly. I mean, when was the memorial event? It was only 10, 11 days after he was assassinated. I think it was even less, maybe. It was like the 19th, 9 days after he was assassinated. Oh, sorry, the 21st. Mansplained in my ear. Thank you, Mark. So Jesse asked her about the harder moments that she has encountered becoming a widow. And she shared that nighttime is the hardest. She also shared her experience with the emotions of being a widow compared to the emotions that other widows may experience when grappling with sudden loss. And here's what she had to say. Take a listen.
Hold on, Candace. Before we hop into this clip, I already got an issue with that. Everybody else you have under a microscope. Every other little small things you're able to catch. But the fact that you're able to spew out of your mouth right now, the fact that Erika Kirk was I believe almost immediately forgive Tyler Robinson for this. How can you say that without in the same breath saying, that's odd? That makes no sense, Candace. Why would she be doing that, Candace? Why would you be forgiving someone that just got arrested? There's no proof that he did it, or there's very little proof that he did it. Candace, what do you mean here? And you're going to address this a little bit later, but I'm saying you don't let that ride in the moment. You're giving Erika a pass. It's not because she's so virtuous. It's because clearly something is off here. What has she seen that we haven't seen that has led her to believe without a shadow of a doubt Tyler Robinson did this. And Erika Kirk is going to say something in this interview that gives us reason to believe she definitely shouldn't be believing this. That makes no sense.
It's so easy to be in a position of feeling regret when you lose someone you love. And I tried to read a book by C.S. Lewis because he lost the love of his life. He was only married to her for 4 years. I think it's called A Grief Observed. And it was a very hard book to read. Not because it was about grief, but because in the opening pages he talked about how angry he was with God. And I've never felt that. I'm not angry with God. Never have been. Never have I questioned, why, Lord, are you putting me through this? Why are you testing me? Why are you? Because God is so good and he's so sovereign. And I know he uses everything, even what the enemy meant for evil. And I have no regrets.
So when I saw this moment, I was just thinking about myself and my a lot of emotions. And
well, let me pause her real quick to say something. You all know something I've noticed about Candace when she reacts to Erika? She does a really good job of making sure she makes no facial expressions. Why are you doing that, Candace? She makes no facial expressions. Is it because you don't want us? You don't want to give us any insight on what you're thinking as you're watching her? Now, what I will say is, I do believe that this was probably, in my opinion, from my point of view, one of the more sincere moments. Not the entire interview, but this moment compared to other moments. This was seemed a bit more sincere to me. But the fact that Candace, just watch Candace's face. She makes no facial expression. That's odd to me.
And I have no regrets.
so when I saw this moment, I was just thinking about myself and my a lot of emotions and grieving that I have experienced and all the emotions that I've shared with you guys and the anger that I have felt. And I want to be very clear that I am not that example that she is giving. I could have never, I know that so many people agree with this. I could have never forgiven Tyler Robinson for whatever part he played in this. And obviously I'm saying whatever part he played in this because I don't believe that he was the lone person involved. I don't even think he's the person that killed Charlie Kirk. But even if you believe all of those things, I never could have turned around and forgiven him that quickly, right? And I have not even processed. I definitely, when I prayed about this, asked a ton of questions to God. And yeah, she is absolutely right in what she is saying. And she is delivering to us what the biblical teaching is on these matters. But I could not feel that way. And
here's something else I want you all to consider that makes what Candace Owens, what she's doing right now, even more deceiving to me. Notice how the angle. Notice the angle Candace is choosing to approach this topic, right? She's choosing to approach this topic from the sense of, if I was Erika, I could never do this. And I know we're supposed, as Christians, we're supposed to forgive each other. Candace, anybody else, you know what you would have said instead? Why are you already jumping to the conclusion that Tyler Robinson did this? Candace is seeming to give Erika a pass that nobody else is getting. A pass doesn't mean that you believe that Erika Kirk had her husband unalived, but everybody should be held under the microscope until proven otherwise. But instead, she's choosing to approach this topic from the I could never do what Erika did. Erika was able to show some strength that's just unprecedented, or it's very unusual that Erika is pushing this Tyler Robinson did it, I forgive him narrative. That's weird, Candace. All of a sudden your common sense goes out the window? That's crazy.
And so I was questioning myself, listening, it's like, what is wrong with me? Like, actually, what is wrong with me? Why am I not able to get to forgiveness? Why am I not able to, or why am I rather questioning and asking why, and why doing this to somebody so young? I mean, even my dad, by the way, was so impacted. He met Charlie a couple of times, but he was so impacted by Charlie's assassination that it made him go, I want to be, I remember my dad said this, like, I want to be a better grandfather and a better father, because I look at myself and I'm older and I haven't lived a life anywhere near as admirable as Charlie has lived his life. This is, my dad literally said this to me on the phone. And it makes me feel like, why him? Why did this happen to Charlie Kirk? And I just, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of what I was thinking. I was going, wow, what is wrong with me that I have felt all of those things, that has had the wisdom to just not go through that. You know what I mean? Or not, I guess I shouldn't say not go through that, but not fixate on that. I couldn't today, after everything that's happened, be like, I forgive Tyler Robbins. I can't do it. I just can't do it.
Y'all, chat, I'm confused here. What is Candace talking about? What is he talking about here? Somebody got to put me on game. I'm missing something. Candace is speaking like she know for a fact Erika's, you don't know what role Erika has played in anything, Candace. Why are you speaking like it? Like, what are we saying here? This is very odd. It seems like Candace is not even considering that anything Erika is doing is suspicious or weird or off.
And I think maybe if I'm assessing myself and being hypercritical of myself right now, it's because I cannot forgive until I know what happened. I don't know what I'm forgiving, actually, until I know what happened.
Right. Y'all, what I think Candace is doing right there is that is Candace, how do I put this? Passive aggressive, indirect way of saying that she disagrees with Erika. That's her very, very slight, slick way of doing it. Because if she just flat out say it, I think she's afraid of backlash, maybe. But of course, what you just said makes perfect sense. The reason why you couldn't forgive until you know what you're forgiving. But because there's so many red flags, you figure out who did this. So why is Erika doing it? Candace, that's the big question. Why is Erika Kirk doing it?
And this might move into what we're going to get into later, where she answers the question, we're going to get to it right now, actually, of whether or not she believes that they have caught the true killer of Charlie Kirk, right? Do you believe that? The person that we have in custody, is that the person that pulled the trigger? Is that the only person that pulled the trigger? Anyways, I want you to hear it directly from her and not me recapping what she said, or reiterating it, rather. It's gone viral because of what she didn't say, to be honest with you. Take a listen.
Do you think they've caught your husband's killer?
So, something I'm so grateful for is that we have one of the most incredible teams for this case.
Oh, really?
I would never wish it upon anybody to have to go through what we are going through. To have seen the autopsy report, to have seen the different evidence portions that have been collected, I trust our team.
So it's not a straight yes or no. And the implication could be that she trusts the team to find more or to get answers, or if this is not it, to tell her what the true answers are. And I think that's why this is going viral, because they're going, okay, does she actually believe that Tyler Robinson acted alone? And obviously Jesse is not going to push her on that, because it would have probably felt more like an interrogation rather than just sitting down and speaking through some of these topics that are probably hard to talk about in general. But I am hopeful that what she's implying is that she trusts her team to do the due diligence. She says that she has seen the autopsy report. She has seen certain things. Obviously, none of us have seen the autopsy report. And I don't know. I didn't know what to make of that. Is she saying that there's more that's going to come out? Is that kind of a foreshadowing that more is going to come out and things are going to be clear? I hope so. I really do. Because in terms of what the public has seen so far,
Candace, no, that's not what she means. We know what Erika means by when Erika says, I'm so excited because I love the team that we have and I trust the team that we have. We already know what Erika means by that, because also in this same interview, Erika Kirk says, based on what she's seen, she wants them to have cameras in the courtroom so that people can see what evil looks like. Because based on the things that she's seen, based on the evidence that she has seen, this is pure evil that did this to Charlie Kirk. That is what she said. So when she is referring to her team, Candace, no, she's not foreshadowing anything. What she's talking about is she believes Tyler Robinson did this. She's not talking about some further investigation to figure out if someone else did it. Which leads us to the biggest question in the room when it comes to this lady. Why is Erika Kirk not questioning? And it's not just Erika Kirk, it's the rest of Turning Point USA. Why is none of them publicly, openly questioning the obvious cover-up, the obvious red flags? Why is Erika Kirk not doing that, Candace? How come we haven't seen the autopsy?
I would say nothing has been convincing. And I'm trying to imagine what they would have that the public hasn't seen that could be sort of a smoking gun. And in theory, it would be the footage, right? Tyler Boyer said, we have footage in 4K, all of the stuff when he was tweeting. And similarly, not the university, but somebody else was saying that, at every angle, every area of the university is covered. Their excuse for not showing the public was they didn't want it to in any way impact the case. That has never made sense to me. That excuse has never made sense to me. In fact, I would imagine that when there was a manhunt going on, before you even thinking about the case, but rather thinking about keeping people safe, that would have been a good time to drop some clear footage of the individual. But it's possible. It's possible they have actual clear footage of Tyler Robinson jumping down onto the rooftop and firing the shot. That's all possible. And so we're just going to have to wait and see on that.
It's more incredible benefit of the doubt that Candace only gives when it's Erika Kirk speaking. This is very, very odd. And here's another very big question about Erika Kirk that people like Candace Owens, as she continues to ignore all the red flags when it comes to Erika Kirk, that you're going to have to answer. Why is Erika Kirk, the now sitting CEO of Turning Point USA, why hasn't she said anything about the audit? Why wasn't she questioned about the audit? But number two, why is it that she has allowed this same security detail to continue working on behalf of Turning Point USA? Did she not see the video footage? They did nothing to help her husband. So if you are under the belief that your husband passed away, Erika Kirk, why would you allow these people to remain employed and to continue to protect you? That makes no sense. And then another thing that someone pointed out was the fact, maybe you can say I'm being harsh. Fine. But hit the like button on your way in. Please hit the like button. Why was she wearing these huge rings? Like, I'm everybody's different. I know that. But I'm trying to understand coming into this interview wearing makeup, knowing that you or expecting that you may cry. I've heard from other women that have said that it's easier to just not wear that much makeup because it could get in the way. It's just easier. It's more convenient. But on top of that, these rings, what is it with these rings, man? I don't understand these multiple rings on one finger. I've already told y'all what I think about the rings. I already told you what I think they're for. And here's the thing. Even if the ring does not stand for Mother Goddess, even if the G has nothing to do with Freemasonry or any of it, fine. I would imagine that if you're going to wear 3 rings on one hand as you're showing up to be interviewed about your husband who was supposedly pow-powed, wouldn't you want to at least clarify the rings? Because it's going to be a big question that people want to know the answer to. You may say that it's not that important in the grand scheme of things, but lady, this is kind of distracting. That's kind of distracting. It just is. And it's on the hand that you're using to dap your face, which says to me, you kind of want people to see them. You know? That I'm just struggling to understand that part.
But keeping with Erika's interview, she was asked directly, and this is probably the most viral moment from the sit down, about how she personally feels about the conspiracy theories that are circulating regarding his murder. And here is her answer.
Now, this is the part I really wanted to get to. Erika Kirk responds to the conspiracy theories, and I'm just gonna say, nostalgic. I agree with you. It's all intentional. Who wears those rings? That many rings, and it happens to be on the hand, the only hand you're using to dap your face. That's odd. It's like that's intentional. You want people to see them. Why do you want people to see them? But this part right here is so interesting to me because this is the part where she is, I guess, telling people she's been asked about these theories. And I want you all to listen to how Erika Kirk never actually answers the question, but she kind of skates around the answer.
There's other theories swirling around about Charlie's assassination.
Right.
How does that make you feel?
When everything happened, my phone died and became a black hole. I just didn't turn it on for weeks on end. I've intentionally insulated myself because I need to guard my heart.
Now, you all heard that part. Don't forget what you just heard her say. She said when everything happened, she turned her phone off for weeks and she insulated herself. This is what she said. I want you all to hear what she's about to say later in the interview. That leads me to believe that this may not have been true.
And I need to be there for my kids. And I need to be there for Turning Point.
That's another thing as well. Many times in this interview, it came off as almost promotional for Turning Point USA. Why do you, hold on. If this is real life and your husband truly lost his life or your wife lost her life and it was a public pow-powing of that magnitude where the FBI immediately became involved even when it didn't even meet the protocol for the FBI to be involved. When something is of that magnitude, why do you care about Turning Point USA? Why do you care about work? I'm not thinking about my boss. I'm not thinking about my coworkers. I'm not thinking about meeting quotas. I'm not thinking about my name tag. I'm not thinking about any of that. My wife was just taken out. I'm distraught. I am now just like that, a single parent with 2 children. That's all I care about. Why is Turning Point USA constantly being brought up in this interview? That is weird. That's weird. That should not be a topic of conversation. Even if you care and they're like family to you no. Take a hiatus. You deserve that. And that's nobody's going to question it. And here's the biggest thing. It's not like we are currently in a presidential campaign run. Nobody's running for president right now. Donald Trump has been elected. The private investigator or the investigative journalist that I interviewed yesterday said himself, everything that Turning Point USA has been a part of, politically speaking, has ended in losses outside of the Donald Trump. Every other local and presidential campaign has ended in losses. Why do you care about Turning Point USA? But it's about to get worse.
And what I've realized through all of this is that everyone grieves differently. Everyone is trying to figure out, and I don't blame them, how does this happen? How does somebody become so radicalized where they can justify this in their own head? We just lost one of the greatest voices of our generation.
Hold up. Everybody, did you all catch that? That made no sense. Remember, Jesse Waters just asked Erika Kirk, what do you think about the theories? All these other theories out here about what really happened to your husband. Erika Kirk's response, at some point in this response, she says, I don't blame them because people are trying to figure out how can someone become this radicalized? Now, there's a couple of things wrong with this statement. One, this gives the impression, because she's not answering the question, this gives the impression that Erika Kirk is alluding to the fact that people are trying to figure out why would Tyler Robinson become so politically radicalized that he would want to pow a person for their political views. No, Miss Erika, that's not what people are thinking. Theories out here have nothing to do with that. The theories are suggesting that something else happened that day that the FBI is lying about. What is Erika talking about?
Why? How? What's behind it? Like, everyone's trying to process this. And I respect that. But where my heart is just asking for some grace is for the ones who were there that day. They have to relive that every single day. He didn't die in a car accident. He didn't die from cancer. He was assassinated. And the difference between this and previous assassinations in this country is there was no social media. There was no AI. I can't tell you how many fake images are out there of all of this.
Bingo. Ding, 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 ding. Did you all hear what she just said? So Miss Erika Kirk just went from saying she turned her phone off for weeks. Now, I don't know if it's going to be in this clip or another part of the interview, but Erika Kirk is going to share that at no point in time to this day has she ever seen the clip of Charlie Kirk getting pow-powed. She said she never saw it. So hold up. Miss Kirk, you're stating that you never saw what happened to your husband, but you also trust what the FBI is saying. You also trust the team, but you haven't seen what happened. Don't you want to know that what they're telling you is consistent with what happened? But more importantly here, Erika Kirk just got finished telling us she turned her phone off for weeks. And she also said that she hasn't seen what happened that day. But now she's saying, there are so many images out there that are AI. How would you know that, Miss Kirk? Would you be admitting to the fact that you've been on the internet and that you've been, because here's the thing. Sure, she may have been on the internet, How is it possible that you've been on the internet, you saw AI images, but you've never seen, even accidentally, what happened to Charlie Kirk? Really? Another thing is, how would you know that it's AI if you never saw what happened that day? How do you know that it's AI? Did anybody catch that? That don't make any sense. That makes no sense. I'm not going to lie. Erika Kirk, and I mean this respectfully, she gives me MK Ultra vibes. Straight up. Straight up. I've dropped a couple of videos. I think I dropped a documentary on Patreon about MK Ultra. Link is in the description to my Patreon. And I'm getting, because it seems like she is, I'm not just trying to psychoanalyze this woman, but she seems so far removed from reality. Maybe this is truly grieving or something, but she seems to be completely removed from reality here. And then when you consider these rings that she's wearing on her finger, who wears those? What are you doing here?
And again, my only request is that just please pray and consider and think about whatever you put online, because it's going to impact his kids in the future. I don't want my kids to go on the internet one day when they're older and see things that, it's just, we're all trying to process this in their own way, and I appreciate that. But just some grace would be nice.
So I think it's a gracious answer, and I think it's a gracious request to, assert first and foremost that people are doing this because they care and they care about Charlie. And also this was a traumatic event that the entire world experienced. And also the reason why the internet is investigating is because the feds aren't. And not only are they not investigating, they're telling some pretty obvious lies, right? Number one being that he was shot by a 30-06 and stopped the bullet, when in a normal circumstance, it would have decapitated him. Like a 30-06 will decapitate someone. And because they've been so ridiculous and then gaslighting us by being like, you're dishonoring Charlie's legacy, people are digging their feet in the ground because it's just disrupts us spiritually to watch something like that and then be told like nothing to see here. Now, here's what I will say about her request to consider the people that were there that day. The people that were there that day experienced a trauma because they watched Charlie Kirk die, or maybe they didn't see him die, maybe watched him get shot, heard the shot, who knows what the exact specs are. This is where it's going to be really hard for Erika to be a CEO and to be somebody who is a widow at the same time, right? Because the messaging that is coming out of Turning Point USA, so this is Erika in her CEO and her chairman capacity, has just been unacceptable, right? It can't be both. It can't be, okay, everybody, we're going to keep going. And, Mikey's going to take over for Charlie at his Liberty event that he has, which is going to be sold out. And Turning Point USA people who are directors of faith are going to be telling you, like, Mikey's got what it takes. Here's what, blah, blah, blah. And then Mikey's going to tell stories about that day, go on his show multiple times. Andrew's going to talk about it. Everyone's going to talk about it. And they don't want to talk about the stuff that we care about. This is what it means to have a podcast, right? You can't want fame only on your command. This is kind of the Meghan Markle thing, right? That we talk about. And I'm quoting this to Mikey McCoy. It's like everybody wants to be famous until you're famous. Okay. We want privacy now. Well, it doesn't actually work that way. You don't get to be like, I want to marry you and I want to be a princess and then become a princess. And you're like, well, I don't want to be a princess, right? It's kind of, you got to pick one or the other. So if there were Turning Point individuals who were so traumatized that day and they needed to go away, I mean, I had to go away for 2 weeks to collect my thoughts about the trauma that I saw having watched it. And a lot of people I know that had to take breaks. I had to take the show off the air for a couple of days and they just, needed time to process. It'd be a little bit different. Actually, it's almost came across like they needed zero time to process, and they were kind of annoyed that the world needed time to process. And then the things that they were telling us were lies.
Yeah, Candace. And you know who also fits into that category? Erika Kirk. Also, in this same interview, Erika Kirk said that she wants cameras in the courtroom because, here, let me play that clip. She says she wants cameras in the courtroom. Let's see. Hold on.
Wants to ban cameras in the courtroom. How do you feel about that?
There were cameras all over my husband when he was murdered. There have been cameras all over my friends and family mourning. There have been cameras all over me, analyzing my every move, analyzing my every smile, my every tear.
No. Respectfully, Miss Kirk, let's put this into its respective respective positions, because there's a lot of context being left out here. Cameras have been on you because you've chosen for cameras to be on you. You literally decided to have a camera phone on you when you walked into the morgue or wherever you were, the funeral home or wherever you were, to the casket, which was a premeditated decision, which means you had to say beforehand, hey, look, turn the camera on now. I'm about to walk into this room and kneel down. Or as a matter of fact, wait until I'm kneeling. Okay, turn it on now. And I'm going to lean over the casket. Then I want you to come over me and make sure you get the rings. These uncomfortable big old 3 rings that I'm wearing that people keep saying are the initials of her children, when there's 3 rings, everybody, not just 2. You made a conscious decision to turn a camera phone on yourself while you leaned over the casket to cry over Charlie Kirk as he laid there in the casket. You chose to do that. You chose to host a speech in Charlie Kirk's office. You chose to speak at his memorial. You chose to speak at the White House. You chose to speak in Mississippi, where you gave an extremely inappropriate hug to a married man while you were wearing those super tight, rather I say, or may I say, or dare I say, sexual pants, super tight leather pants. You were doing that. No one told you to do that. You chose for the cameras to be on you. That's very disingenuous. You had your hands all in JD Vance's hair.
We were able to factually debunk things that we were being told. And then you've got people like Tyler, who's featured in this, Tyler Boyer, who you're the chairman and the CEO. Tyler Boyer is a sexual deviant, right? Why do we have to because he was at the hospital, give him grace? It's like, no, this is this is now what's at the head of the company. Charlie's not there. We want to make sure that this company is going to be committed to truth. We want to make sure this company is not going to be telling us that we can't care about this or not be focused on that, because we need to decide whether this is still the same company. That's what it means, right? Is this still the same company? And so I think with the McCoy thing, everyone wanted a stage until you got a stage, okay? And people started going lie, right? Case in point, Alex Clark wanted to do the Wall Street Journal thing until I caught this little lie. And it's like, what are you saying this thing about Catholics? That's not true. Okay. Take the stage or don't take the stage, but it can't be in between. And then suddenly when the public turns against you, I don't want a stage anymore. That would be my response to that. And I do not have any sympathy for Rob McCoy. I have no sympathy for Mikey McCoy. I have no sympathy for Tyler Boyer. I think telling the truth is a very easy thing to do when you have a microphone. And if you don't want to tell the truth, it just makes you look more suspicious. And I can give you an example of that. There was some kid who was wearing green at this, wearing the green hoodie, then responds very quickly. He's like, that's me. Sorry, I dress weird. I think he's on the soccer team at UVU. And that's it. It's over. And nobody is talking about the green hoodie. Here he is, Colby Sessions. Hey, guys, this is me. My teammate and I were just on campus to get food and stop by the event. We always wear silly stuff like that. Sorry, guys. That's it. How easy, right? How easy. He's not like, I'm a victim. Call a lawyer. I can't believe somebody asked a question. I can't believe there's interest in this event where an assassination took place. No, people are asking because they're well-meaning, and he just comes right back and answers it, and it's over. That's how easy, that's how quick, that's how painless it is when you simply tell the truth. And I just don't feel that anything that's been easy to clarify has been done, and it can't be because they're in a state of mourning, because they were like back on their feet the next day and giddy and sharing memories and talking about what happened on that day in detail. So, except for the parts that we want to know about, I don't know, doesn't work for me.
So this is what I'll say is so Candace, you're and this is an unfortunate byproduct when you're not fully truthful. When you're not fully truthful, because Candace Owens, regardless of how you feel about her, she says a lot of truth. She's been speaking a lot of truth when it comes to the whole Charlie thing. But Candace, when you're choosing to ignore the biggest elephant in the room, this is going to be the outcome. It's going to be very difficult to accept the other things that you're saying, because we know you're not being fully honest. You can't be in the pursuit of truth, but this big glaring obvious thing over here that could have a lot of answers if we figure it out, you're ignoring that. You're pretending like you don't see that. In fact, you're even willing to gaslight us when it comes to that. That thing happens to be Erika Kirk. So let me make sure I understand, Candace. You're willing to question anything and everybody, even at Turning Point USA, except for the CEO. Really? If the CEO didn't even have odd behavior, I would still say give that person a look. This CEO has a lot of red flags, a lot of odd behavior. They aren't asking questions. They aren't pursuing truth. Candace has been quiet about it. That's crazy. Now, for those of you that didn't join at the beginning and you didn't catch the beginning, on my second YouTube channel that is called Didi Got Politics, I posted a video where I'm reacting in full to much more of this interview by Erika Kirk, and specifically an actress named Nadia who gave her thoughts. She's been to acting school. She knows what to look for. You all should go and check that out. Again, Candace did what I thought Candace was going to do. She pretended that nothing was wrong. She purposely did not react to certain parts of this interview that was very strange, very odd. And then she gave gentle pushback and gentle encouragement. Very odd. I know y'all saying she's trying to keep Erika close. Maybe. But when you're ignoring a glaring red flag, you're going to lose support. But let me get to some of y'all super chats. William, thank you so much for the $2 super chat, bro. My dude always on time. We appreciate you for sure. Thanks, bro. William, once again, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. It's okay to watch Candace and I like her, but be honest and don't pretend Candace isn't being deceptive and is contradicting herself. Be true to truth. I agree. You can't be claiming to be true, and I know it can get tough if you know these people, but we're going to notice. When Candace was live today, I was so proud of the comment section. So many people were saying, Candace, stop. Candace, we don't trust her. Candace, her behavior is odd. Candace, why are you lying? Candace, why are you pretending? Candace, how do you not see this? Candace, are you not going to say the things? Candace, the music video. Candace, her family's background. Candace, her interview. Candace, the fake tears. Candace, when she's whispering, it doesn't feel organic. How aren't you seeing this like the rest of us? I felt so proud of the comment section. Bree, thank you so much for the $5 super sticker. William, once again, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Peeled an onion, LOL, she's reacting to feedback. I think I missed that part. William, thank you so much once again for the $5 super chat. Candace capping, Erika capping, just like the day Trump got his ear pierced and the Secret Service team failed him, but he praised them anyways, all stage. Very good point. Nothing else to see here. Let's move on. What? Bro, what? That makes no sense. People, that makes no sense. That makes no sense. I know y'all like these people, but that makes no sense, man. Shut down the investigation himself. He didn't want to see if anybody else was involved, just like this situation. Kash Patel shut down any investigation to see if any foreign nation, any foreign government was tied to Tyler Robinson or anybody else. Why would you be doing that? Why is Erika Kirk accepting everything that's been told to her? That makes no sense. Brooke, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. So glad you're covering this. Candace lost me, to be honest. Yeah, man, like, I watch her to just see if like there's anything major, but I'm like, when it comes to this and Catholicism, Candace, just stop. We don't trust you, bro. When you start talking about that, we know you're not willing to be fully honest for whatever reason. I had to edit that video, the video that we just reacted to of Candace. I had to specifically edit it because Candace had a huge infatuation in today's episode, clearing up the whole Catholicism piece. Which, if that's what Charlie Kirk was truly converting to or entertaining, then fine. But I don't care to hear about it. But that's just me. It just makes me cringe. Adrian, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. She also lied and said that his death was called on the scene. When we heard his death, yes, was called in the hospital because he had a pulse. There's a clip from this interview that Adrian is talking about of Charlie Kirk. She said that Charlie Kirk had a smirk on his face when she went to see him in person. And to her, that signaled to her that Charlie passed away in peace, because he knew that what the person who unalived him tried to destroy, Turning Point USA is going to come back stronger. This is not about Turning Point USA. Why do you keep making it about Turning Point USA? Why did you say that when he got hit, he passed away instantly? That's inconsistent with what we've been told. We were told he was fighting for his life for a short period of time after the fact. Somebody's lying. Somebody's lying, bro. Crazy. Crazy, 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 man. But once again, if y'all would like to see a much more thorough reaction, I reacted to it on my second channel called Diddy Got Politics. Please go and subscribe. Please hit the like button. I'm trying to grow that audience as well. You'll really like the video. I react to other parts of the interview as well. Hop in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok. I will be posting more clips here in the coming week or so. Thank you so much. Please go and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok under the same handle. I really appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and log off under an hour. This is great timing. I love you all. I'll catch y'all the next one. Peace.